welcome to episode 10 of the I Thrive podcast. It's your boy Sundin, Esperance. It's a very special episode as this is my first ever video podcast I've ever done in my entire life. I'm excited, not too nervous. Why did I do the video podcast? I feel like it enables me to reach out more to the listeners out there, pretty much, and those who probably just look for some knowledge to grab on while they're on YouTube, whatever, Facebook, wherever they are at. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the I Thrive podcast. I appreciate you. If you are a returning listener, you already know what it is. You already know I'm about the business. You feel me? On today's episode, really, I'm just gonna give you a couple of tips on what you can do during this COVID-19 crisis, this coronavirus crisis. And those of you who listen to kind of like almost all over the place, Alaska and places in England, all over, not all over Canada yet. I'm not there yet, but obviously when it gets there, God willing, of course, but it'll be a good thing. But no, those of you who are listening around, you pretty much know what this coronavirus crisis is about. What's going on, why it's going on the way it's going on, or maybe some of you have your own facts and stuff like that. But I just wanted to share a few tips with you in terms of what you could do during this coronavirus time. I mean, like I said, every single person around the world, if you don't know about this virus, I don't know, but it's hit all over the world. It's scared a lot of people. It's scaring a lot of people. People are countries like Italy, Spain, but Italy, they had I believe one day it was like 200 or 300 something deaths in 24 or 48 hours. I'm not too sure on that. Sometimes 793 deaths in one day. That's a lot, right? People are dying and by the thousands. There's deaths coming from every country. The deaths in the States, in Canada, country, obviously China, other places out there, so it's during this time, so many of us where we have no choice but to be isolated. We have no choice but to be put in a house and go nowhere, to do absolutely nothing. Whereas going out there, obviously you have to get groceries and stuff like that. It's almost like as if you're telling them you want to walk through a street and there's gonna be a gang shootout as you walk across, which is it's crazy, of course. But so during this, we're gonna get started and to give you these tips that I hope that can help you, and I truly think that can help you during this coronavirus time. Now, tip number one is get right with God. And get right with God the right way. So obviously there's a way of getting right with God the wrong way. But in terms of this COVID crisis, and really it's when you look at it, just take my hoodie off. When you look at it, don't mind the hair. Barbers are on quarantine as well. So those of you watching, don't even look at it. When you look at it and get an understanding of this crisis, there's a lot of times things happen in life or happen in the world where we want to, or we choose to, say what, let's get right with God, I got into an accident, someone close to me died. I see where, you kind of search to go get right with God. But why I say get right with God the right way is because, a lot of the excuses I hear is you don't have time. Kind of do. You're supposed to have time for God always, but you want to learn who you are and what you're about through Him. Now, why I say get right with God the right way is because there is a wrong way to get right with God. And obviously, people are going to have their own personal feelings, their own personal opinions, and in terms of how they feel about this topic, about that situation, because they're always going to feel that, I'm already right with God, so this doesn't apply to me. It's always going to apply to anybody and everyone, no matter what, because you always want to be the best you can be in order by serving God, right, or living for Him. Now, if you are trying to get an understanding on how to get right with God, what you want to do is obviously examine yourself, look into your life, and to do these things, you can go on, like I say, moreover, go on YouTube, search up Gino Jennings, and those of you saying, why specifically him? Why don't you refer us to the other people out there? Why are you only referring it to him? Well, if you're looking for something that is going to get you on the right path, if you're looking for doctrine, if you're looking for something solid, if you're looking for something real, if you're looking for something that's true, if you're looking for something that is written, if you're looking for something to get you right, that's where you want to go. Now, in terms of the other places, there's a lot, like 99% of preachers out there, they're false. 99%. And during even this crisis, during this time, not everybody around me is in truth, as I say. So there's messages that play out. None of the message that's being given is being given to help the people out. It's just a way to feel sorry about the situation, in terms of, oh well, this is where we're at, but you left this for granted, that for granted. Whereas in terms of my leader, Gino Jennings, PJ, he's telling you like it is. If you don't like to be told what you got to be told, you're most likely this is not for you. If you're looking to waste time, if you're looking to just play around with that still, I'm kind of on this shift in my life, I still have to do my thing. When it's time to get right with God, I'll get there. Fine, that's up to you. Like I said, I think I said it in a previous episode. I'll never forget this. When I asked God myself, I said, why do you want me to get right with you? Why should I get right with you? Why should I, follow you? Why? For what? And I'll never forget it. That's the time where, in terms of what happened, that's what made me realize, be careful what you ask God for. I used to work at a comedy club. No, I wasn't one of the comedians. I should have been, though. But I was, before I was in truth, of course. And I was like a doorman security. And I'll never forget this. There was a couple that came in. I was familiar with the wife, because I've seen her before. But I guess the man that she came with was her husband. Now the crazy part is his face, his expressions was just like, he had like a big belly. He wasn't fat, like arms and legs, but his belly was just big. And the way his face was just like something was just bothering him. And for some reason, it just don't take your eyes off that guy. So, I go, I sit them down, and I remember this like it happened an hour ago, like it happened not like a minute ago, literally. As so when you're coming in the comedy club, it was like linked with the restaurant. So you come in the restaurant, you can either go to the restaurant or you come into the comedy club. Now, as you come into the comedy club, I say greeting, they show me the tickets. I go, and as they're going to my left, their right, I go to sit them down. Now, as I go to sit them down, the wife, she takes her jacket. As she takes her jacket, she puts it on the chair, and she's talking, to like another, whoever that person was, whatever she's talking to, just ha ha ha, he, and all this and that. And as I go and get, the cutlery and, mini plates, I come back to give it. This man, he just grabs his heart. Like, no joke. It was just me and him. His wife her back is turned to him because she's talking to someone else. It's a comedy club. People come in, it's pretty tight. So you gotta, kind of talk with others. And I'll never forget it. As this occurred, as this happened, and as this was happening, this man, as he grabs his heart, he's just leaning back. He's leaning back. He's leaning back. He's leaning back. And then he just kind of like gets a pump up and he drops dead. Like just drop. He goes on the floor. I go over top of him. I've never met this man. At that moment, I did not even know what his name was. I had no clue who. I did not know. But yet this moment, it was just me and him. Until I had to yell to his wife, Miss, your husband. She goes, she looks at me, she looks at him, and she starts saying her husband's name. Oh my God. And I'm calling my coworker, yo, call the ambulance, call the ambulance. But you know, because I like to joke a lot. You know, people who know me know this guy's a joker, ha ha ha, he. And I used to joke, you know, around. It's a comedy club, right? So I'm joking around in there. She kind of like was in a hesitant phase because, you know, she thought, okay, this is one of his jokes again. But I'm like, no, this is serious. Call the cops. So she calls. I'll call the ambulance. So she comes. She's like, oh shoot, I'm over top of this man, and as I'm over top of him, his eyes were beginning to shut, and his arms just slowly started to, like, you know, come fade away. Colleen, you know, my co-worker at the time, her name was Colleen. She called the ambulance, and by the time before they get here, person that was a level C in CPR, say, I'm a level C in CPR, I can help. Okay, she said, come, you know, she's trying, doesn't work. A retired firefighter comes to try to help her. Boom, 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 boom. Trying, and it doesn't work. So as it doesn't work now, I'm looking at it like, man, this right here, it's almost as if it's not real. Like, you have two people trying to help one guy. It's not working. And as it's not working, to, you know, from obviously what I saw, this guy was already dead. Finally, ambulance came, nothing different. Nothing. They tried CPR, they tried everything, it just did not work. So from that moment on, I'm just sitting down, just thinking like, wow, what just happened? Like, this man, I didn't know this man just died in front of everybody like that. This man just, like, I was telling myself, that's such an ugly way to die. Like, nobody knows you. I'm the last person you see before you die. I have no clue who you are. And it was crazy, that same day, it was his mom's birthday, and he died in front of his son. And I think his son had his girlfriend there as well. Dies in front of, that's like, you die in front of your kid on your wife's birthday. And from that moment on, I chill. There was nothing else from there. I just boom, I pushed it, I gunned it, and I didn't turn back. I kept going. So pretty much to sum it up, I don't want you guys to wait for such a situation. You know, I don't want you guys to have to get into a situation whereas, you know, something bad has to happen. Something bad is happening right now, but, you know, grateful enough you're at home, able to get this time to get right with God. And, you know, another thing was crazy is I believe a year after that, somebody from my high school, I don't know what the case or how he died, but he's dead. And then on top of that, when I was in college, we were at nationals in another province. So Americans and you guys have states, but in Canada we call it province. So I was in a different province. We lost in penalty shootouts. I go in my locker room. I go in the change room. You know, it's already like the vibe, and, you know, everybody's just down. You know, I'm just, you know, just dang, bro. And then I get a text from an old classmate. You know, and I open my phone and I see the name and I see a GoFundMe. I'm like, kind of like, here we go again. But I'm thinking, this can't be it, because this is, you know, it's just like, this guy is healthy. Of the, you know, the GoFundMe that came, this guy is healthy. From my knowledge, you know, he's chill. And then I call the friend. I'm like, yo, what's going on? What happened to such and such? He's like, yo, he's dead. I'm like, what? I said, yeah, bro. You know, he was playing, I guess, soccer or basketball, I don't know. And then he just dropped dead. And I'm like, man, it's just so many people. It's just death here, death. And, you know, it was so tough to hear that, because I know I was just playing. I just finished the game, but to hear it under those circumstances, the way he died, I'm like, wow. And then another teammate of mine, known him for years, Anu. His name is Anu. Known this guy since I believe U13 or U14. I think U13. Been known this guy since then, since 13 years old. We played on the same team and whatnot. And it was crazy. Everybody hated him when he came to the team, you know. Just talking with his loud mouth. But anyways, you know, I remember how I found out. I think it was through social media. I see it's a social. Here I go again. I see a GoFundMe, but this time my heart, I'm like, nah. I see three. It's him and two other ones I knew that he would hang out with on the regular. So I'm thinking, nah, yo, this. I kind of hesitated to open that GoFundMe, cause I'm like, you know, this it was always the same process. Someone died, GoFundMe, family needs money, such and such. So I opened it. It was like a bad accident. I seen the car. I'm like, jeez. Like when I seen the car, and then they told me this guy's alive. Well, one ended up passing away, and the other one, I don't know what his situation is like, but you know, I know a new. And I could not believe that car. And what was crazy, I was told he was asleep in the back of his car. So not only was he asleep, and I'm telling you, the car was straight finished. Like if like there's a mechanic that said he could fix that car, he's gonna at least charge like at least maybe like $1,000 an hour. Maybe 1,000 per minute. The car was completely damaged and finished. And I'm telling myself, you know, being in truth, I already knew, I understood, man, God is definitely giving this boy another opportunity, another chance, because he was supposed to die. He was literally supposed to be dead. You know, so to sum it up, you don't want to wait until something like that occurs or something like that happens to you. Not to say he was waiting for it or anything like that, but you just never know. And most of the times, for a lot of people, it is just too late. You know, you have your opportunities, you have your chance, but you just go on to say, oh, nah, this and that. And those of you who truly believe that, you know, you are right, and maybe the church you go to, it's right, and this, you just need to ask yourself, whatever that church calls themselves, or whatever the teaching is like, you have to make sure it's according to what is written, according to the scriptures. And you gotta, and don't be there. Don't just be there because your friends are there. Because a lot of the times people know the church they go to, it's nonsense. They know it. But you know, hey, my boys are there, and my family's there, my dad is there, my mom is there, my cousins are there. In fact, my dad's the pastor. How could I leave? It's very simple and easy. It was not difficult for me. That, you know, though, you know, in terms of what happened in 2016 or 17, if I'm correct, with the guy dying at the comedy club, it stuck with me so much that I had no time to waste. So I was kind of like going, you know, church to church. I was still looking and looking. And you know what's crazy, in terms of, you know, looking, I come on off the truth of God. I'm listening to Pastor Jennings. I'm listening to him, and it's just, I'm listening. I'm like, man, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe it. It's just to be so bold and firm. And I knew, in terms of the lifestyle I was in, I needed something hard to get me out. So softy, touchy stuff, it's not going to do it. And a lot of the times people want that softy, touchy stuff just so they could continue to live their lifestyle. So if a pastor or whoever, they tell you, hey, it's okay to smoke, it's okay to drink, it's okay to, you know, party, it's okay to club, it's okay to do what you want and all this and that, have, you know, your ears pierced, tatted up and this and that, it's fine. You're still gonna go to heaven. Who wouldn't jump on that? Obviously, is it a lie? Of course that is. But some people, you know, they just don't know. And there's some, they know it. But hey, this person said it. You know, I trust it. I believe in it. You know, and you jump on that lie. And that lie is just making things worse and worse. And it's like every day, every second, every minute. You know, people who've been in like literally close to near death situations understand that, you know what, there's things I just have to eliminate right now. Some people, it's the people around them, it's the you know, whatever, maybe in things that they do that they have to stop, whatever the case is. You know, so it's during this COVID pandemic, my number one tip, the greatest tip I can let you know to give you, is to get right with God. Just go And look, just listen. Just listen, because to get right, you obviously have to be taught, right? It's not just teaching yourself, and it doesn't go that way. You obviously got to be taught. So just yourself, you can go on YouTube yourself. You type Gino Jennings, Gino space. You're gonna see the Jennings come up. You click that, and there you go. He's gonna be having and now during but during this COVID crisis, I know they close out the churches and stuff. So what can you really do? Now there are live webcasts at 12 p.m. noon and 4 p.m. That's gonna be starting. Started last Sunday. It was like different times, but this Sunday I believe it's at 12 p.m. noon and 4 p.m. It's Eastern time. So if you're in the countries where you're a couple hours ahead, couple hours behind, tune into it. I'm telling you, man, I guarantee you, if you're serious, if you're really serious about getting right, this right here is for you. If you're serious. But if you're looking to joke around, if you're not even in terms of joking around, if you're just not serious, if you're not ready to get right with God the right way, I'm telling you, you're not ready, man. And once you do it, it's about taking your time. So I'm not telling you, hey, you do this, go rush. Now getting right with God, it's not like some of you, if you have the desire right now, this moment, it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes time. But once you have the humbleness, once you're humble enough to understand and realize that you want to do it the right way, in the right manner, do so. I'm pointing you to him, directly to him. You didn't see me say, hey, tune into Gino Jennings, also tune in. No. Specifically just him. I most definitely guarantee you. Just listen. Listen and pay attention and learn. Get right with God the right way. I'm telling you, what's watching this, you that's listening, it's probably like something's ticking in you. I don't know, man. This guy's kind of. I'm telling you, better take this opportunity, because look. Here's the crazy part. You see, with God, because we believe that God, he controls this earth. He controls us. He runs it. Like if he wants to cut us off, kill us, he can do that. You can have your mask on. You can have your gloves. You can, wash your hands 50 to 60 times. Like, you could do all of that. And then, you're fine. You go to bed, no cough, no sneezing, no headache, no nothing. No symptoms of the coronavirus. You're still hard-headed. You don't want to listen. You don't want to do what you have to do. You can go on your bed, and right there, God just takes your soul. Gone. You're dead. Just like that. Versus someone who's going out there all the time, and you're staying isolated. You're staying. It's. I'm telling you, just like that. It's just like that. I'd advise you, don't take a risk. Don't take a chance in terms of saying, oh, well, I don't really believe in that. Look, man. God, he can't do nothing to me, man. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to, he would have done. I'm telling you, don't say that. Trust, please, do not say that. So that's the number one and main thing I would tell you to do. Get right with God the right way. The website is truthofgod.com. On YouTube, you'll find videos, Gino Jennings. If there's like specific things you have, you could put Gino Jennings maybe on racism, Gino Jennings on baptism, Gino Jennings on, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of things you've done or we've done that have just been done the wrong way. Don't be in this fictionist world where I'm right with God, God's got me, but you don't live for him. You know your works, your doings, the stuff you do, the way you are, what you listen to, what you watch, what you feed off of, it's not pleasing to him. So don't lie to yourself. Keep it real. Know the things that you got to change and get right with him. It's always a good time to. But here's a tip. During this time where you're isolated, get right with God. All right. Now, tip number 2. Very plain and simple. When you're isolated, it's easy to just, I'm with my family. Enjoy the time with your family. Like enjoy that time that you have with them. A lot of people, they're scared. There's probably houses where everybody's staying like 6-10 feet away. Whatever the case is, hopefully there's a living room that's sizable enough. Even if you have to sit kind of apart, enjoy something together. It could be a movie, a TV show, maybe Gino Jennings watching it. just in a cards or something, you know, crack some jokes, whatever the case is. Enjoy the time, because look, this virus, it could go for as long as God wants it to go. And if you're really asking me, man, how long do you think it's gonna go? I don't know. It could be the rest of this year. Like, it's not, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you though. I as the days were going on, I was just telling myself, man, is it gonna be maybe like a 2-3 week thing, 2-3 weeks here, 2-3. But as the days kept progressing and as the death toll kept on rising, these days, you know what I'm saying, these weeks, they're becoming more and more and more. It's always something new every day. Every time it's like more of a problem than an issue. You know, that's pretty much being resolved. So you really want to enjoy the time you have with your family. Some of you barely can ever even see your family, you know, in terms of, you know, before the virus, because you're always working and stuff. But enjoy your time with them, you know, crack some, especially you that have kids. You know what I mean? It's you could learn about each other so much, to the point where, because, you know, I've seen it and I've witnessed it, people who've known each other for years and years and years, they don't even know who that person is. They just kind of, it's like they live it within roommates, you know. So enjoy the time. It could be Legos, it could be video, I don't know, something, man. You just find something where you guys can enjoy each other's company. It's gonna be, like I said, I don't know how long, but this thing is, it could be some time. Here in schools have already closed down, in a different province in Canada, ready to, you know, just ready for September. So we don't know, you know, try to get some things where you could work on with your kids. I mean, yes, this time may be tough for you, and it's maybe your family to you, maybe kind of like annoying people and whatnot. But what you need to understand is that despite it all, you might as well just enjoy the time. Reason why I say that is, I remember, you know, being in high school, middle school, and elementary school. I'd say mostly middle school though, where, you know, I used to get in trouble a lot. If I was already like in trouble, you know, they already called my parents and stuff like that. I told myself, man, I mean, they already called, so might as well just be more bad, you know, boy, be worse. It wasn't in all cases, it wasn't crazy, but, you know, in terms of that situation right there, you know, just, you're at home, enjoy the time. You might as well. You could, you know, be stressed about this. You could be, all right, you know, but hopefully you're working on tip number 1, so that way tip number 2 could become at the ease. But enjoy the time with your family. If there's problems that need to be fixed, you know, in terms with siblings, or you and your wife and husband, all this, and, you know, get on those things. Enjoy that time that needs to be enjoyed. You know, and maybe one of you are able to work and one has to just, you know, stay in the house, can't really do work because, you know, they're probably a self-employer. Whatever the case is, find things and find times to really enjoy each other's companies. You know, that's my tip, you know, number 2. All right, enjoy each other's time. It's isolation, you're with your family, enjoy. Now, number 3, do something out of your comfort zone. So something useful and productive. Now, it's easy to do things that's in our comfort zone. Being in an isolated time, it's very easy to go on our phone, very easy to watch TV. Those are like, it's comfort. You know, those things are easy to do. You know, it's not hard. Now, in terms of something that could be out of your comfort zone during this isolation time, it could be, for some, it's writing. Some people just don't like to write. They have a story, as so many people have said, but they just don't like to write. So it could be writing. It could be reading. Some people, they probably struggle to read, or they're not the best at reading. And depending on what to read, what I recommend you read, the Holy Scriptures. You know, I know some of you laugh there, but, you know, yes, in terms of reading the Holy Scriptures, but, you know, it could be on a book, just reading. You know, obviously in general reading, and maybe how to like a finance book, accounting book, whatever the case is. It could be, learning how to talk better. Some people, they're kind of so shy when they, have to talk to other strangers, or if there's like a presentation you have at school or at your job. Not everybody could go out there and talk. So that's something you could work on when you're at home, right? Because some people, they just don't like to talk. Sometimes there's presentations. When I was in high school, where teachers individually have to get up, or, those things where, hey, get up and present your name and stuff. People probably just don't want to do that. Some people actually get up. My name is so and so, and they just don't want to talk. They don't want to, so work on that. Work on, communicating. If you speak, if you have to work on, your English work, whatever, work on that. French, learn a new language. Learning a new language, you could not a full entire language in your house, but you could learn something new during the isolated time. Like, look, habla español, ¿cómo está? ¿Está bien? Bueno. Ah, ok. ¿De dónde eres? Ah, bueno. ¿De dónde eres? ¿De Canadá? Sí, se la cuenta. Sí, señor. Sí, señoras. Yo hablo un poquito de español. Some Spanish, some Portuguese. Como vai? Como vai você? That's it for that. Tu parles français? Toi tu parles français? Toi tu parles français à l'étudiant. Apprends une nouvelle langage à l'étudiant. Ça s'école pas dit. Ça s'école pas dit. Qui gala pas dit. Qui gala pas dit. Qui gala? Something like that. Some simple stuff. Learn, it could be cool. Yes, I got fed, obviously Haitian, I'm gonna speak Creole, but you get what I'm saying. It could be learning a new language, something that's kind of out of your comfort zone. Because obviously before the isolation, you were not thinking of it. But during it, learn something new of it, even some basic stuff, All right, now, number 4 is pretty much work on finding a reliable source of income. Now, mainly, obviously, I'll tell you and point to you something that could work online. This right here, it's not going to be easy, but there are obviously ways where you can work on that. It could be something in the field you're in. Now, there are obviously people who are essential workers and people who are non-essential workers. Now, those of you who are considered, a non-essential worker that is essential to others, for example, a barber. It's very essential to myself. You could find things where you could work online. It could be maybe creating a course on, cutting hair. It could be on, creating a course on, sales in terms of how to grow a business as a barber. It could be you as a self-employer, whether it's something you just do that self, daycare owner, something, if you're a daycare owner, because a lot of daycares now they're shut, right? It could be, maybe creating some books, creating some things online for the kids or something, for people out there to generate a reliable source. And now, it's something that you can create now, but it's obviously, generate volume years and years to come. Right? So, I mean, a few bucks now is different than thousands of bucks in the years to come. Right? So work on, that could take time. That takes time. But work on finding a reliable source of income. It could be something, okay, maybe I could get out there as a, maybe an essential work, whatever the case is, but work on something in terms of that can be online. Maybe you like to read. Maybe you like to write. You can write a book. It could be an ebook. It could be a hardcover book, something, right? Take this time to look for something to generate. It could be passive income, whatever the case may be. But take that time in doing that. Another thing you can do as well in terms of working on a reliable source of income, those of you with kids, start developing projects with your kids, right? If your daughter and son, maybe let's just say grade 4 and grade 6, right? You ask them and say, hey, what I want you to do is write to me, briefly what it is you want to become. Say the son says, hey, I want to become a basketball player, right? Why you want to become a basketball player? Say the daughter says, hey, I want to become a doctor, right? Why you want to become a doctor? get them on doing some projects and get them on to really write these books. So maybe you could create like an ebook for themselves, and that could sell and generate something passive. So work on ideas, get projects going for your kids. What I'm currently doing now is I do some for the activity I have, Je veux jouer, because of the crisis. What I'm doing my best to help is giving some courses to the kids on financial literacy, through obviously video. Yes, I did say financial literacy, and it's possible. It's obviously not something a kid will listen to and be ding right away. Maybe not all kids, but it definitely will help them during the time they are at home, not really doing much or not doing nothing at all, or bored out of their minds. If there's something new that they could learn that could help generate something in this brain, because they're gonna need it too, right? So but yeah, so work on finding a reliable source. It could be something with clothing, it could be something with tools and all this and that, because if you look at it, so many jobs have to close down, and a lot of them weren't ready to work or to send their employees to work from home. But in terms of the company I work for, laptops, webcams, like things are going up like it's crazy. The orders that are coming in, it's crazy. So and all they're doing is on, it's pretty much it's online, so it works really. But find a way to generate a reliable source of income. Now, number 5, learn a new skill, but not basic. Once you learn that new skill, master it. So what do I mean by that? Let's say if you know how to cook, try to cook something you never cooked before. Learn something you never cooked before. Learn multiple things you've never cooked before. Pretty much open up the arsenal of what you can cook. I have a video on my social media, Sundin, Esperance on Instagram. I did cooking fish and stuff. I had no real intentions of actually recording it and whatnot, but I just wanted to record it and for myself and send it off to relatives and whatnot. I kid you not, those of you who've seen the video, that was my first time ever cooking fish. My very, very first time ever cooking fish. I've never ever cooked fish in my entire life. Never. That was my first. The closest things I cooked, it was like a already cooked salmon. Pretty much, I just had to kind of fry it and that was it. But to actually go into cooking the fish, cleaning it, I had to still get some of the skills out. I never done it, and it was wonderful. I say that fish was that fish was marvelous. I'm telling you. Look, I've never tasted a fish like that before, right? I'm good with my seasonings and when I can cook, but I just said let me go something I've never cooked before. I really didn't want to, but I told myself, you know what, let's just do it. And not everybody wants fish to be cooked in their house because the smell and all that. But yeah, it could be in terms of cooking, fixing up the house, maybe in terms of something's wrong that could be fixed up. Now you're learning new skills in terms of how to fix it. It could be assorting the garage. It could be assorting your bedroom that's all over the place, or a room that is all over the place. It could be poetry. Simply something in terms of you like to write. All right. In the eyes of the time, there's a couple of time to be seen, but there's no lights on me. If there's no lights on, you know what I'm saying? Something. Something like that. I ain't no poet. I'm not no poet, you feel me? But it could be, poetry, talking better. Some people it could be like maybe an actual, if it is, I'm not laughing at that. But if not, when people stutter a lot, there's some people that have that. There used to be one guy, all Brampton East Mans, the team I played on. We all knew him was Kai Kai. It was a funny man, but when he spoke, he stuttered a lot. And it was funny. Man are saying like, it was just in a funny way. But in terms of it all, I don't think it was really of a condition personally. You know what I'm saying? It was like a realm. It was normal, for myself and the rest. Yeah, it'd be funny and whatnot, right? Because it's like he was, he was a funny guy. He was a funny guy. At the end of it, but not just in terms of that, but maybe because some people, they just stutter when they get nervous, right? For presentation, when I used to do presentations at my in high school and middle, people say that's what would boost my note up. Like, yo, this kid present. I'll never forget this. My art teacher at the time, she wanted me to host my own graduation. I'm like, what? You want me to call my own name out? All right, and who was graduating? The Haitian sensation, and it came back from came out the plantation. Sundin, Esperance. Like, was I gonna announce myself? So I didn't really realize what they seen at that time, right? But look, obviously they see something that I didn't even see myself yet. So that just goes to show. It just talking about. I was just natural at it in a way. I just made sure when I went up there to do the best I can to know what I'm talking about. And even if I didn't know much of it, I knew how to kind of like get, the teacher's attention and get people's attention in terms of explaining things. Start using my hands and stuff, start to get them, vibrant and whatever the case or whatever I had to do. So, talking better, like I said, it could be, something that's more. At home, you could actually work out. Don't be lazy, right? Maybe you've never done 50 push-ups. That could be a goal you can do. Maybe you have the opportunity to do setups, right? Pull-ups, all those things. Work on things that can, break your limits, right? You may say, I was never able to do this and that. But no, work out, keep fit, do what you have to do. Maybe if I have a bike, maybe you have a treadmill in your house you haven't used in who knows how long. Get something on. You know what I'm saying? Learn something in terms of, being better. You know what I mean? It could be simply starting your own fitness page. It could be starting your own accounting page, finance page, soccer. I don't know. Work on those, but just do it and do it good. Like, you want to master it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just, all right, I'm big and I'm fit, let me just do a fitness page. Actually know what you're doing and when you know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about, it's gonna be a simple journey for you. You're gonna go through some hardship times because there's so many people out there trying to master things, but make sure you're constant. And like I said, like this, learning something new, it could be something that you never done as a workout. A pull-up that you wanted to do when you pull your whole thing over the bar. Something, maybe there's certain things you have to do to work on that. You never did a certain amount of push-ups under a minute. Those, I'm giving simple stuff here, but you get what I'm saying. It could be within all of that, right? So learn that new skill, continue to do what you have to do with it, and go from there. Now 6, which is last but not least, be grateful. Yes, you heard it. Be grateful. Now, why do I say be grateful? Is simply put, whereas you being in isolation, not used to it, you're kind of going crazy, man, I gotta get out, I gotta this and that. I see around the neighborhood, mine, people, they go for walks and, they need a break from the house and stuff. The reason why I say be grateful is because people who go to school, go to college, go to uni, whatever the case is, at times they're trying to escape. They're trying to escape a life which is inside of their house. Meaning, it could be a life of abuse. It could simply be suicide could be getting easier for somebody right now, especially if that person lives alone, right? Some people, they like to be out to kind of be free, but now, in terms of the conditions that they're in, that they can't take no more, they probably just want to kill themselves. And the more and more they're at that house, they're inside the house, the more and more they they're getting closer to killing themselves, right? And this would be a perfect time for someone that's suicidal to want to do that, because they're gonna just probably just fake that they're sick and maybe they poison themselves or something. You get what I mean? So that's why I say be grateful. during the situation. Yeah, you're in an isolated time and all, but you probably not in a hostile situation. There's some people they'd rather walk out, like be outside every day and risk getting the coronavirus than being inside a household and getting abused. And what type of abuse? You know, it maybe that a boyfriend, you know, the woman's daughter keeps telling her about. He's touching her in a certain way he's not supposed to. It could be a kid just getting mauled in there. Like, you know, you could beat your kids, but don't kill them. You know, but he's getting mauled. He's getting beat up. He's getting put the shreds for nothing, being abused. You know, so you know, you want to be grateful that, not to say, oh man, I'm glad that's not me. No, just be grateful that, you know what I'm saying, you're not in that situation. But still, obviously, understand that there are people in that situation on a regular basis. There were people in that situation before the virus happened, and the time, like a wife that could be in an abusive marriage, a husband that just may not be happy with his wife. So much and kids that know it, and like that have to deal with their parents arguing constantly that they have to go through this now. And we're able to go to school and kind of like hang out with our friends. Now we can't do nothing. We have to hear and listen. All of that. There's some people, they can't even be with their families because they were in another country before this virus and all this happened. So you really want to be grateful about this situation. You know, and right now, self-employers, they have it hard. And those of you who don't really get the understanding what a self-employer is, it's someone that works for themselves. But depending the business they have, which is most likely where they have to be in contact with the person, now they can't even do. Like pretty much if a self-employer stops working, the money stops. So you're your own employee and your boss at the same time. I used to be a self-employer. You know, for me, I was hiring people, but now it's even within that. If we can't be out to clean anything, or because I had a cleaning business, if we couldn't be out to clean or anything, I would have to go, you know, stay at home. Now what do I do, right? So some self-employers, a barber. You know, somebody who I don't think all real estate agents or realtors are in that predicament, but maybe some are, because like I said, the living situation, condition, who knows, right? Whatever type of business somebody had, you know, there's somebody who probably did an investment before this virus happened, and you know they're thinking, man, well, I'm gonna, you know, do this work, you know, to make this type of money, certain money, such and such, and everything should be good. Now they can't even do that, and the investment they made, they can't even get their ROI right now, return of investment. And some of it could be a one that's heavy, where they literally, they knew what they were doing, but they took that risk of making that investment. But now here they go, they have to end up paying for whatever it is. One example could be if somebody bought a house to rent it out. You know, unless, you know, wherever you are, they're going to do a rent freeze, and a mortgage freeze, fine, they should be good to go. But if not, now that person, they took an investment, they have nobody to live in there, and they maybe have a month to 2 months where they could pay that type of mortgage. You know, so there's people who are in that predicament. So be grateful. Doctors, nurses, all these people, they could just say, yo, forget this. Because a lot of people, this in the time we are in, a lot of people, it's kind of, you know what, forget everybody, it's me and mine. They don't really care what could happen to somebody else out there. But for doctors, for nurses, you know, people who work, you know, those jobs, you know, for it could be, you know, Walmart, Fortinos, Safeway, wherever you are, whatever your grocery shop is. And you grocery store people that are selling, like, you know, price gouging. Oh my days. No, that's just foolish, bro. Like that's just goes to show people don't care. But there are some, you know, they have the things at your disposal. So if there's sanitizer there, I could sanitize. There's wipes, I could wipe myself. I could come in there with a mask, free, you know, all those type of things. You want to make sure that you're just grateful of that, because you're gonna need food to eat. One if everybody just says, yo, I'm not taking a risk. In a city in Oshawa, those of you who don't know, Oshawa is literally like just a middle of nowhere type of city in Canada. So just I believe one employee got tested positive for the coronavirus. They shut that whole grocery store down. So it just takes one person in terms of all that to happen. But these people, they are doing what is necessary in order to get in what they have to get done, following protocol, right? Some could just be hard-headed. They tell the cashiers wear gloves. Some could just say, I don't wear no gloves. Some say, hey, make sure you have to, do that. Nah, I ain't doing that. That's how I did it. No coronavirus got me. So be grateful in terms of all that. So and obviously the Senate, the janitors, man. Some like obviously central places like a hardware store and stuff, they are in there probably a whole day, or change shifts and whatnot, cleaning just keeps cleaning. It takes someone to have to want to do something like that. You're clearly not doing it, so someone else is, right? So and yeah, the janitors, the one that you look at with disgust, like, man, who are the, those are the same ones that are literally, putting themselves at risk of getting a virus, and they have kids, and all that, and they're doing this, out of love. I hope. I don't know exactly what their motive is. Could be obviously the money, could be better and increased and whatever they're doing, but still, you still have to go out there. If it's like you telling me, look, Sundin, we'll pay you $2,000 every week if you go through, 23rd Street. And here I know 23rd Street, every time I go through, it's going to be a shootout. Would I want to take that risk? Most likely, I'm going to say no. Say that, yo, man, if you go through that, you have a 99% chance you could get shot. Why would I take that? Even if they said if I had a 1% chance, yo, you have a 1% chance to get shot through that neighborhood. There's going to be shootout. There's going to be, why would I go through that? Right? But them, in terms of, and what's crazy, you don't even have to have symptoms to be tested for positive. Unless some people, they lied and said that they had no symptoms. But some claim that they haven't had it and they tested positive for the virus. So just be grateful within it all. Be grateful and understand that there are people that are risking their lives. Some doctors have died, so there's lives that are constantly being lost, man, each and every day. And like I said, people have it worse. People have it worse than you. So be grateful in terms of the situation that you're in, that you're able to isolate time and get right with God the right way. Enjoy the isolation with your family. Do something out of your comfort zone. Work on finding a reliable source of income online. Learn a new skill. All those. Be grateful that you can do that. Be grateful. Whether it is, you're out of your mind. You can't even do nothing for hours. Be grateful for that. Right? Because somebody wishes they had that hours of nothing happening to you. You doing nothing. They wish they had even a little minute from what you had to get away from whatever abuse or whatever situation that they are in. So like I said, this virus could go on longer than expected. I don't know, but pretty much, I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you enjoyed this episode as we're coming to a close. And that concludes episode 10 of the I Thrive podcast. Concludes episode 10 of my first video podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below, your comments, everything and all that. If anybody has any questions or concerns, you could email me, sundin.esperance@ithrive.ca. You're more than welcome to simply follow me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all those things. Like I said, if you're looking for something serious, something spiritual that to help you, a life-changing thing, you can go on YouTube, type in Gino Jennings or First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ. Go on to truthofgod.com. Go on, check the website, ITHRIVED.ca. Check out my website, jevejouet.ca. And that's pretty much that. Also, The YouTube channel Runs TV. Runs TV is pretty much, no runs are really happening right now, but it's a regular pickup game being recorded. So anyways, that concludes today's episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning into the I Thrive podcast. It's your boy Sundin Esperance. Peace be unto you all. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Do what you have to do. And love your family. Love what you got to get around. Alright? Take care and peace be unto you all.